Hi, everybody. Welcome to Reader's Intrigue, where authors are going to read the first chapter of their book so that we can be intrigued and maybe find a new book to read. Get comfy, get cozy. Let's listen.
Hello there. My name is Mark David Pullen, and I'm an author of middle grade speculative action adventure stories. My debut novel, The Oasis King, The Oasis Chronicles, is about three young boys in search of adventure who are magically swept away to the Valley of the Oasis, a strange and primal paradise where danger and monsters lurk around every turn. While there, they meet up with a lone hunter and his dogs who are stuck in conflict with a malevolent stranger, a strange green-skinned being from another time and place. Now I would like to read to you Chapter 1 from my debut novel, The Oasis King, Book 1 in the Oasis Chronicles. Chapter 1. The package arrives. None of them could have guessed where the package came from, or who could have sent it. Furthermore, they had no way of knowing that simply opening the package would ignite a series of events that would take them on one of the most extraordinary adventures of their lives. But that's getting ahead of ourselves, so let's start at the beginning, shall we? It was a cool, crisp afternoon at Grammy's house. That's what the boys called her, Grammy, or Gram for short. Every summer they were sent off for a few weeks to stay with Grammy on the farm. The boys considered it a mini vacation because they rarely had any chores to keep up with, and as long as they stayed out of trouble, they had the run of the house and property, except for the library, which doubled as Graham's study. They sprawled out with books and games strewn around the room due to the weather that kept them inside and confined to the den. Dylan stretched his back and glanced toward the window, watching as the rain continued to pour down. "This is lame," he said with a yawn. "Yeah, way lame," Jack agreed. "What's lame mean?" Tripp asked. Although he was relatively bright for being only 10, he still wasn't quite hip to some of the things Dylan and Jackson said or did. Even though Dylan was 12 and Jackson 11, they still relished the idea that they were older and wiser and therefore superior to their youngest cousin. "He doesn't know what lame means," Dylan said, laughing. "What a baby," Jack added, even though he wasn't quite sure what it meant either. Tripp got up to stretch his legs. As he gazed out the window, he found himself entranced, watching the raindrops splash against the window and drizzle their way down the glass. Aside from the rain, it was reasonably calm outside. But alas, with no wildlife to entertain his gaze, he rejoined his cousins on the rug. "I'm getting hungry," Tripp said. "Good call, sport. I could eat too," Dylan replied. He was always calling the younger boys by some silly childish nickname. "Do you think Graham will let us have ice cream for lunch?" Jack asked. "No way, but as long as it's not hot dogs, I'll be happy," Dylan replied. He despised hot dogs. The boys wandered from the den of the old farmhouse into the kitchen where they found Grammy already preparing their lunch. The entire room smelled of homemade chicken soup and fresh baked bread. The aroma of the chicken slowly simmering in a broth of onions, celery, and carrots, accompanied by the rich buttery smell of the bread, made their mouths water. "Have you boys made a mess in the den?" Grammy asked, without turning her gaze from the hot pot of soup. Gram was always cooking something special just for them. She used food to show the boys her love. She was an easygoing woman and made things fun, but if they stepped out of line even slightly, she wasn't afraid to play the disciplinarian. "We have, but we're still playing," Dylan replied. "That's fine. Please clean up when you're finished," Grammy answered. Dylan washed his hands at the kitchen sink and the two younger boys followed suit. Dylan handed Tripp the soap while Jack fixed his gaze elsewhere. Sitting on the counter just beyond the sink sat the cookie jar. He crept over to it and stood on his tiptoes as he quietly lifted off the lid and removed a cookie. Then he gingerly replaced the top and lifted the cookie to his mouth. "No snacks before lunch, Jackson," Grammy snapped. How did she know? She didn't even turn around, Jack thought, silently returning the cookie to the jar. They all made their way to the table for lunch and ate hurriedly. When they finished, they pushed in their chairs and placed their dishes in the sink before being dismissed. Dylan and Jack went back to finishing their puzzle in the den while Tripp flopped on the couch and scrolled through the channels on the old black and white TV. None of the boys could understand how Graham could enjoy the modern marvel of cable TV on such a small, obsolete viewing instrument. All was quiet in the house when the doorbell rang. The boys jumped as if some ghostly specter had reached out and touched the backs of their necks with cold, supernatural fingers. "That got me," Dylan said, laughing nervously. Boys shuffled into the foyer just in time to see Grammy accept the package and close the door. Trip peered out the window next to the door and through the rain could just barely make out the postman climbing back into his truck. Grammy headed back to the kitchen where she placed the package on the table and greeted the boys with a smile. "What's up, guys?" Graham asked, continuing to look through her stack of mail. "What's in the package?" Dylan asked. "There's no return address, but it's addressed to the three of you. We'll open it together after supper, okay?" A distracted Graham asked as she tore open a letter, retreated to her study, and closed the door. Dylan lifted the package off the table and examined it. "What do you suppose it is?" Jack asked. His birthday was right around the corner, and he assumed it could only be a gift for him. "Probably something one of our parents sent us," Dylan replied. Tripp just shrugged and nodded in agreement. As Dylan examined the package further, he noticed it was addressed to the three of them and did not have a return label, as Graham had said. "Please deliver to Mr. Dylan Waxwell, Mr. Jackson Stackman, Mr. Tripp Fuller, 47 County Route 15, Gilbury, New York, 18582. Tripp snatched the package out of Dylan's hand, ran for the den, and with the older boys close behind, slammed the door shut. Then, without thoughts of getting in trouble or consequences, the boys tore open the package. Beneath a mound of packing and paper, they found a pocket knife, a wooden slingshot, and a small lantern. This has been Chapter 1 of my debut novel, The Oasis King, The Oasis Chronicles. If you liked it, the book is available at most online major retailers like Walmart, Target, Barnes & Noble, and Amazon. And if you'd like to reach out to me, please feel free to visit my website, theoasisking.com, where you can find the page to reach out, and the email will come directly to me. Thank you very much, and I hope you've enjoyed this reading.
Thank you again to the amazing author that read us a story, and be sure to check out all the other amazing shows on RB Media. Till next time, bye!